The village square was tense as Laura clasped Kira's hand tightly, guiding him toward the growing crowd. Soldiers clad in the silver and blue armor of the Alliance stood at attention, their banner fluttering ominously. At their center, Ramzy, the leader of the recruitment program, conversed with the mayor. Stephen stood beside them, looking smug as he pointed toward Kira. Draven stepped forward to intercept the situation, shielding Laura and Kira. Stephen has recently discovered his powers. He's inexperienced, and his spell clearly malfunctioned during their scuffle. Ramzy ignored Draven and turned his sharp gaze to Kira. I'm Ramzy, leader of the recruitment program for power users. Tell me your name, boy. Kira, unaware of the growing tension around him, answered innocently, Kira. Ramzy knelt slightly, his tone calm but his words weighted. Do you want to learn how to harness your powers and become someone great? I can teach you. Kira's eyes lit up. Yes, I want to fly like Stephen. Ramzy chuckled softly. How old are you, Kira? I'm 9, but I'm smart. I can learn fast. Ramzy straightened, his demeanor shifting as he glanced at Stephen. Begin the testing, he commanded. The soldiers stepped forward, holding a glowing crystal orb above each child's head. It glowed faintly blue over Stephen, prompting cheers from his father. A sorcerer, the soldier announced, and Stephen puffed out his chest with pride. Test him, Stephen barked, pointing at Kira. Laura's grip tightened on her son's hand. Her heart pounded as she pulled him closer, whispering, Stay quiet. The crystal was placed above Kira's head, but to Laura's relief, it remained dark. Draven interjected quickly. As I said, Stephen's magic was out of control. Kira doesn't have powers. The soldier was about to move on when Ramzy raised a hand, his piercing gaze locking on Laura. Test the mother, he ordered. Draven stepped in front of her, trying to protest, but the soldiers pushed him aside. Laura's instincts screamed at her to run, but it was too late. Her hair began to glow an ethereal blue, and her feet left the ground as gusts of wind erupted around her, throwing the soldiers backward. Her eyes blazed with fury as she shouted, Stay away from my son! Ramzy stood his ground, his eyes glowing in response. Princess Laura, he said, his voice steady, did you really think you could hide from the Alliance? I recognized you the moment I saw you. Laura's voice dripped with defiance. You've made a mistake, Ramzy. I'll make you regret finding me. With a wave of her hand, the ground beneath Ramzy erupted, sending him hurtling into the sky. Draven stared in shock, the realization hitting him. The legendary princess of the sorcerer clans had been living in his village for 9 years. Grabbing Kira, Laura sprinted from the village, her speed spell activating. Ramzy landed with a thud, summoning his crystal sword to stabilize himself. You can't escape, princess, he called after her. Your family already knows where you are. Laura froze when a portal opened before her. From its swirling depths emerged her brother, Prince Garen, clad in ornate armor. His smirk sent a chill down her spine. Long time no see, sister, Garen said mockingly. Running away again, I see. You're free to leave, of course. His eyes shifted to Kira, his tone turning cold. But the son of Johann stays. Rage erupted in Laura's voice. Leave my son out of this. She pushed Kira behind her, her body trembling with fury. You know I can't do that, Garen replied coolly. He's the last of the warrior's race. He must die. Laura's scream tore through the air as her body erupted in blue flames. Meteors of fiery energy rained from the sky, hurtling toward Garen with terrifying speed. Caught off guard, Garen summoned blue flames to shield himself, smashing meteors with his fiery fists. Impressive, sister. You're not holding back. Laura's movements were relentless, her power surging uncontrollably. She clapped her hands, sending a freezing gust that turned the fiery rain into an ice storm. Shards of ice pelted the ground as Garen blinked, teleporting away. But he wasn't fast enough. His arm froze just before he disappeared. That's when Laura appeared behind him, summoning a magical crystal hammer, which she wielded to smash his frozen arm. He screamed in pain as shards of ice flew in every direction. More portals opened, and Alliance soldiers poured in. Garen retreated, clutching his frozen, shattered arm. Laura's eyes shifted to glowing orange as a sun-like mark appeared on her forehead. She raised her arms, summoning beams of fire that erupted beneath the soldiers, incinerating them. The air burned with intense heat as chaos consumed the battlefield. But then she felt a sharp, dangerous presence behind her. She blinked away just as crystal daggers sliced through the air toward her head. Ramzy emerged, holding Kira with a knife to his throat. "Enough, princess," he snarled. "Surrender or the boy dies." "Kira!" Laura screamed, her voice breaking with fear. A shadow loomed over Ramzy, and a deafening roar filled the battlefield. The colossal golden lion appeared, its presence both majestic and terrifying. Ramzy turned, only to see a massive silver wolf tearing his arm from his body. He screamed as the lion bit into his torso, tossing him aside like a rag doll. Soldiers charged, but the lion unleashed a roar, sending them flying with a gust of wind. The silver wolf grabbed Kira and bolted. Laura activated her speed spell, racing after them. As the lion continued its rampage, she heard the desperate cries of soldiers fading behind her. Suddenly, a thunderbolt struck the ground before them. Laura froze, seeing Kira on the ground, cradling the lifeless wolf. Blood dripped from a wound on his forehead. "No, Kira!" she cried, running toward him. A voice boomed through the chaos. "Laura, enough!" She turned to see her father, Mordrain, standing with Garen. Thousands of soldiers loomed behind them. "Father?" Laura pleaded, tears streaming down her face. "I'll do anything. Just spare my son. He's no threat." Mordrain's expression remained cold. "The boy must die." Kira clutched Laura's leg, crying out, "Mom!" Laura screamed, her body igniting in orange flames as a colossal sun formed above her. Its heat scorched the earth, but before she could unleash it, Mordrain raised his staff. Darkness swallowed the sky, extinguishing her power. Weakened, Laura used her last strength to create a portal beneath Kira. "Son," she whispered into his mind, "go to the ancestors' woods. Find the spirit. Be brave." The portal swallowed Kira just as Mordrain's hand closed around her neck, cutting off her air. Her vision darkened, her last thought of her son,